Welcome, College of Eastern Idaho students, staff, faculty, and any community members that might be joining us. My name is Mike Walker, as usual, and this is
Lori Barber. We are so glad to be back with you today.
We really are. So happy Columbus Day, happy Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yes.
I have a land acknowledgement that I'd like to read. Here at CEI, we want to take the time to honor and celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. We want to show support for our tribal students and to the tribal community whose land CEI stands on. And I just think it's an important time for us to think about our history in those regards.
Absolutely.
And how we can do better.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mike, for that. All right. So as usual, I have a quote of the day, and my quote today comes from Nelson Mandela. And the quote is, "Do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again." And you know, there is just no doubt that in this life, there will be obstacles that we have to overcome. That simply is the human condition, as most of us probably know. So how we deal with those obstacles determine whether you'll reach your goals. I know some of you are dealing with monumental challenges, certainly do not want to diminish that. Really hard things that I know a lot of our students deal with. However, if you just keep moving forward, if only just a little bit at a time, solutions honestly begin to present themselves as long as you're making that effort to move forward, and you'll be able to get up, keep moving forward, and get closer to achieving your dreams. So that is my quote and little blurb about the quote.
I like it. So Lori, have you ever fallen down and had to get back up again?
Mike, that's just mean. He knows I have. I have fallen down and in fact shattered a kneecap in the process of doing so. And I did get back up again. And in fact, I mean, now that you've brought that up, Mike, now you're going to have a hard time getting me to be quiet about it. What's interesting about that is that my surgeon told me there were certain things. So I teach yoga, as a lot of you know. And my surgeon said, there are certain things that you are never going to be able to do again in teaching yoga. And I said, oh yeah, that sounds like a challenge. And in fact, I can do those things, which he said that I would never do again. So anyway, just persevere, keep moving forward.
And I'm glad I mentioned that because I actually didn't remember that.
No.
I'm sure you've told me, but
probably so.
Forgot. So
I get it. Yeah.
Well, wonderful. Okay, so we have a few updates and then we'll get to bringing in our special guests today. Our special guest today is Julie McMurtrey, Senior Coordinator for Center for New Directions, and we're very excited to have her come and join us in a few minutes. But we'll get to these updates. So some typical updates that we've been giving the last couple of weeks. There's for a lot of these. COVID reminders can be found on our website, cei.edu/COVID-19-information, right there on the screen. Or also the updates page, which will tell you more about specific cases and so forth. So that's also available. Follow all the normal COVID protocols as cases are rising in Eastern Idaho still. And so please, again, wash your hands, wear a mask, make sure that you are keeping standard physical distancing, 6 feet apart, and the standard COVID updates that you've all heard from multiple sources.
So something else to add to that, Mike, is in the classrooms, also make sure that you're not, I know it's really tempting to move tables, move chairs, so you can be closer, so you can hear somebody better, but we really do have to keep the tables and chairs where they're marked to be. So far, CEI has not been a source of spread. Certainly we've had cases on our campus, but we have not been a source of community spread. And that is because we're really being very vigilant, following all of the protocols. And so one of those things we need to make sure we're doing is not moving tables and chairs in the classrooms.
Yep. And that may change.
Yes. All right.
So be safe. Oh, one more thing.
Yep.
All applications are now available for the CCAMPIS Childcare grant.
Yay.
So this is huge. It's
So
a $120,000 grant for over the course of 4 years, $30,000 a year.
Amazing to you and Julie, and I'm sure Julie will talk a little bit about that today.
We are. So contact the Center for New Directions at 208-535-5363 or email cnd@cei.edu if you have any questions. They're located in Building 5, Room 591. And at the end of our updates, we'll have a lot more conversation with Julie about that and a few other issues. So stay tuned.
All right, so e-refunds are coming soon. We are very excited about this, something new on our campus. So our goal is to go live with e-refunds by the middle of October. However, you can sign up now through your student self-service portal. So, you know, why wait to get those refund checks by regular mail when you can get them through an e-refund. It's going to be fabulous.
Right to your bank account.
You can get it much faster by enrolling in the e-refunds. By signing up online, you can get your refunds deposited directly into your bank account, so you're not watching the mailbox every day hoping that it will arrive. So I'm going to go through just a few easy steps that you can do. So the first step is it's easy. Step 2 is go to Student Self-Service Portal and click that Make a Payment link. The next step is in the Student Account Payment Center, click the Electronic Refunds option, and then you'll have to provide bank account information, which is very secure on our system. And then also coming soon, students will be able to sign up for a payment plan through Student Self-Service and make payments through self-service. So we are super excited to be automating so many of these processes to make it easier for you, the students.
We have a comment from a staff member, Effie Hernandez. Way to go for CEI for recognizing Indigenous Peoples Day. Thank you. All thanks to Effie Hernandez for her efforts in doing that process as well, and for bringing it to everyone's attention. We already knew, we were
Sure.
hopeful for it, but the extra reminder is really, really wonderful, and we really appreciate her efforts on recognizing Indigenous people and Indigenous Peoples Day. So thank you, Effie. Financial aid updates. So the next check release for financial aid funds will be mailed after actually today, October 12th, but some of you may have already received it because they released those starting on October 8th. Today, October 12th, Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. Study students will not work because it's a technical federal holiday, and so if you're a work study student, you wouldn't be working today. Withdrawing from one class or a few classes can affect your satisfactory academic progress, which can affect your financial aid eligibility. Be sure to check your financial aid on how you will be affected. So if you have any questions, you can email financial.aid@cei.edu. You can go to the website. You can call the main number. So the phone number to reach them is 208-524-3000 and check option 7. That's the number for financial aid. Withdrawing from all classes will cause a payback to your financial aid. So please contact the financial aid office to discuss your options and a potential payback, because they can tell you maybe there's some other choices that you can make. The last day to withdraw from full term classes is November 2nd with no grade penalty. So that's for the W. Okay.
All right, so I have some student life updates. Remember that the Student Senate meeting today will be in room 131 in building 1 starting at 4:15. Is there also a Zoom link for that? There has been.
Yes. So a Zoom link will get sent out.
Okay. Also, we're going to have a virtual Star Wars trivia on October 13th from 6 to 8 p.m. So
that's Tuesday.
Yeah, so look for some information coming on that and think about joining in for that. They're a lot of fun. We're having a possibly Picasso night on October 15th from 4 to 9 p.m. That sounds like amazing.
We do that once a month. It's awesome.
Yeah, super awesome. And then CE night at the Rexburg Straw Maze on the 21st of October from 5 to 8 p.m. And then we're having a CEI night at the New Sweden Corn Maze on October 27th from 5 to 9 p.m. Also, we are very excited that we are going to be having our Trunk or Treat event, the annual event that we always have at CEI, although this year it will be different, as you might expect, to accommodate for those COVID restrictions.
I put my typo on the month again.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the drive-through Trunk or Treat will be on October 29th from 5 to 8 p.m. So it will be drive-through style. From, again, 5 to 8 p.m. with families staying inside their vehicles and driving through the CEI parking lots up to our business trunks. The trunks will be lining both sides of the parking lot and will have 25 feet on each side of those trunks. The trunks will be, the people giving out the candy at the trunks will have masks and gloves on, and they will hand out the candy to the kids on a tray. So we'll just bring up, they will be masked and gloved, and we'll come with a tray of candy. So the kids in the car can pick out the candy so nobody is touching that. We'll also have our own radio station managed by a CEI student with DJ experience. That is a first, and we're super excited about that. And this DJ will periodically be reminding everyone of all of the safety measures that we have in place. We are very excited to host this event for the community because we know a lot of them are being canceled, and we're super excited to bring some joy during these difficult times. And I will, not to be a downer, but I will say that we are doing this right now as long as everything remains the same. There is a chance that should infections rise greatly and something else happen, we might have to alter that. So just stay tuned. But right now, as long as we all do what we're supposed to be doing, we are hopeful that we can have this event and are super excited about it.
Yeah, and I agree. It's going to be really, really a lot of fun. But again, all student life events are subject to change if COVID protocols require that. So far, so good.
Yes, we're doing amazing on our campus. Really, we are. Yeah.
Thrilled with how we've handled it. Thrilled with the low number of cases, honestly, on the campus. Sure, do we have new cases every week? Yes, we do. But we haven't been so far a significant source of spread here. So that's really amazing.
We need to really celebrate how well you students have done with following the protocol. We know this is hard and awkward and weird, and none of us have ever navigated this before. And so a super shout out to all the students, faculty members and staff members who are everyone doing their part so we can keep CEI open.
100%. Okay, one more time, we'll mention this. This one is important for students to remember and to know and to be aware of.
It is.
So we'll mention it one more time today. How to make a complaint. So you can always come to my office, Dean Walker's office, to ask questions about processes or procedures or to register any kind of a complaint. However, if there's an issue that you have with an instructor, I'm happy to listen, but I'll always refer you to the instructor first. And that's where you can go first if you have an issue with an instructor, your instructor. Now, if it's an issue that's different, like not instructional, if it's about bias or something like that, then I can help you with that process too. But students, you really should talk to your instructor first about any instructional issue. If an issue is about bias, I'm happy to listen, especially if someone feels they haven't been heard. I will ask a student how he or she wants to proceed, and we'll talk through the options. If it's purely instructional, I'll refer the student to the instructor, department chair, dean over that area.
So Mike, let me just do something really quick. If I were a student and I came to your office and I said, Dean Walker, I need to vent. I am so mad about something. Here's what's going on. I just want to vent to you and let you know what's going on. And then I leave your office. What will you do with that?
So if you say you need to vent during that conversation, I will ask you, do you want to make this a formal complaint? Do you want to do anything else? Have you talked to your instructor directly? These are the questions that I will ask you. If at any point you say you are willing to go talk to the instructor, then I can't do anything with that complaint. You need to actually go to the instructor's office hours and talk to her or him.
So it's really important for me as a student when I come into your office to either tell you I'm venting or Dean Walker, I want to start the formal complaint process.
100%.
You have to really understand what my wishes are. And I have to be willing to make those very clear so you know what your next steps are.
100% agree. Exactly. Thank you for that clarity. So if they do come forward and say, instructor, I need to make this complaint, then I'll say, okay, well, you need to go start with your instructor if it's an instructional complaint. If it's something else, that's another issue.
Sure.
And happy to always have my door be open for an appointment, for a conversation, for whatever. If the instructor that the complaint is about is a department chair, I'll refer the student to the instructor and the dean. If the complaint's about a non-instructional issue, then I would handle it how it needs to move forward with an employee or with human resources or with another student, depending upon the severity, whatever it may be. I would generally look into the concern and discuss a plan of action with the person complaining, the student complaining, the complainant. No matter what, though, the student should always contact their instructor first for an instructional complaint, and most issues can be resolved by having a one-on-one conversation during the instructor's office hours with the instructor.
So Mike, let me ask you something else. So I come to you and you say, I really think you need to go talk to the instructor first. And I say, I'm really scared to go talk to my instructor. I'm afraid that they're going to hold it against me and give me a bad grade, or it just feels too scary for me to go do that by myself. What's your advice then?
So there's a few things that we can do.
Okay.
I can say, is there somebody that you would like to go with you to talk to the instructor? I'm happy to go with you. I'm happy to have someone else go with you. I recommend that you do just you talk with the instructor one-on-one. But then I'll also give the reassurance, well, if you have a negative conversation with that instructor, you can always come back to me. You can always go to the department chair. You can always go to that particular instructor's chain, the dean that's over that area. So there's a lot of options, but it's really important for any form of self-advocacy, whether you're talking about it in an academic environment or once you leave the academic environment and end up in the real world, that you follow processes. There's complaint processes and procedures that have to be followed. And that way, you can know that those issues are being resolved and taken care of. If you don't feel like you trust the process, there's always someone else to go to.
Okay. Yeah, and I would say that the instructors really do want to hear from you, and our instructors want to know what you're struggling with, what your fears are. They're amazing, and so really that should be your first point of contact.
And let's say the complaint's about me. I would refer them to you as my direct supervisor, sure. And that way they know they have someone else that they can go to.
Yes.
And I assure you, Lori keeps those things confidential where they need to be confidential.
Yes.
She would not divulge something to me that was that was held confidential.
For sure.
And if it's about Lori,
then
you'd go to Rick.
to President Amon. Yes.
So student appeal procedures are also outlined on page 29 of the student handbook and page 31 of the catalog. These are also available virtually, and I've sent you that link in the past, and I will periodically each semester send that link again in the future. Okay, so any other thoughts on the student complaint procedure?
No, I think that I just want students to really, like you said, to begin to advocate for themselves, because at some point in your life, you will have to be your own advocate, and you'll have to learn how to navigate difficult situations. Certainly that we have backups, we have fail safes for you if that doesn't work, but do try to start with that first step by going to your instructor.
100% agree. Okay, well, let's welcome our wonderful friend, Julie McMurtrey, Senior Coordinator for the Center for New Directions. Julie and I've known Julie for about almost 3 years, not quite. And Julie is phenomenal. She has been in this role for many years. She'll tell us about that in a minute. But by way of introduction, Julie has a master's in psychology, and she is she's just phenomenal. She works hard as a student advocate. She helps students with lots of different processes, and she is growing her center in so many wonderful ways. So
she's amazing. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Welcome to
this wonderful conversation that we're going to have. To our show. Welcome to our show.
Welcome to our show.
Thank you for that dance too.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
So Julie, tell us about your background and how you came into your role here at CEI.
I am originally from Northern Utah, Brigham City, best little town in the world. When I followed a traditional route to higher ed, in that when I graduated from high school, that was my logical next step. That being said, I was a first generation student, so I didn't have parents or siblings that could answer questions or guide me through that process. So I followed my friends. My friends went to Utah State. I went to Utah State. I had decided at one point that I was going to be a nurse. So I transferred to Weber State because they have an amazing health occupations program. I took all the prerequisites and was accepted into the program. And about a week before, I decided that wasn't for me. And life takes you on an interesting journey. And sometimes I wonder if I'd stayed in that path, where I would be now. But I really feel like that was the best choice for me. I absolutely love what I do. And I married a nurse, so we're good there. But more to come.
I've revised my thoughts on that.
Yeah. He tells me it was a good move for me to not do that. So anyway, so I graduated from Weber State. Again, just kind of flailing along, I feel like. I got to the point where I was like, okay, I have all of these credits in this, so let's just get a degree in this and be done. And it was in family and human development with a minor in psychology as a major. So I ended up working for the state of Utah. I was there for 20 years. The last 10 years, I spent mainly as a trainer and a state specialist for our employment counselors, and was one of the state contacts for WIOA when it was still WIA before it was reauthorized, and the TRADE Act, which is another federal program that helps individuals get assistance with higher education. So I had a lot of experience on on the back side of it, on the policy and the procedure and funding and grants and budgets and all of those sorts of things. And I loved working with staff. That was what I really enjoyed, but I didn't get a lot of opportunity to interact with our customers and with our students. Along the way, I picked up a master's degree in educational psychology and was happy. And then I married a boy from Rigby, and he's a non-traditional student. So as I mentioned before, he's a nurse, and he had actually, I share his story with a lot of our students, and he is an introvert, so he doesn't appreciate that, but that's fine. Anyway, he was a little bit older when he went back to school, and kind of some of those same things that I had been through, and he honestly just fell into nursing, but it's been a great fit for him. He's been a nurse now for about 14 years over at Airmac, and so he was starting out in his career when we got married, and I had been, like I said, working for the state for about 20 years. So I was the one that opted to move. And the position within the Center for New Directions came open a little bit earlier than I was really looking for as far as reentering the workforce and things like that. And it just seemed like such a good opportunity that I couldn't pass it up. So I applied and luckily was the one selected. I had applied for another position, not with campus. It's actually with the state here in Idaho. And I had turned that one down and thought, I'm going to kind of figure things out, moving to Idaho, getting everything settled. And this one came along and I couldn't do that. So here we are. And I have been here, it was 7 years in September.
Wow.
All with the Center for New Directions. So
That's amazing.
I love it.
And you've done a ton with it.
Thank you.
Which flows. Oh, go ahead.
But no, I was just going to say I love it.
And we love having you here.
Thank
So
you.
it all works out well. And this just kind of flows right into the next question. So tell us about the Center for New Direction, the who, why, when, where, what, and talk about what is its mission and focus specifically.
Okay. So the Center for New Directions is a unique little office on our campus. We're not actually funded kind of through the college as a normal, office here on campus. We actually receive part of our majority of our funding through the state, through the Career and Technical Education Division. The Center for New Directions was originally put into Idaho state statute in the late 80s as part of the Single Parent and Displaced Homemaker Act. So Idaho, during a legislative session, passed a law that said $20 from every divorce decree that's filed in Idaho will be set aside, and that funding will be used to set up these offices across the state within higher ed called the Centers for New Directions. So there are 6. NIC, LCSC, CWI, CSI, ISU actually has one within their College of Technology. They're the only university to have one, and that's why, is because they have a College of Technology. And then obviously CEI. So that's our core focus. That's always been our core focus, is to serve single parents and displaced homemakers. And a displaced homemaker, this is very antiquated in language, but it's still what the federal government uses for this particular population, is defined as someone who has primarily been a stay-at-home parent, and for whatever reason that situation has changed. It doesn't necessarily mean female, it can also apply to males, but primarily been a stay-at-home parent, and through death, divorce, layoff, illness, whatever has happened, they have now are now in a position where they need to maybe do some skills training and things like that to re-enter the workforce. So that was our core focus, still is one of our areas where we spend a lot of energy. We also do a lot of work with non-traditional students, and for our office, that is defined on gender. So a student who chooses to enter an occupation that is underrepresented by a particular gender qualifies as non-traditional. So on our campus, it applies to females in all of our trades: auto, diesel, welding, computer networking, cybersecurity, and then for males, our healthcare fields. And that is the definition for non-traditional. So we do that. We provide services for those students. We get some funding to offer some scholarships and that sort of thing. That's the history of CND. And then as far as kind of the next thing that I was asked to talk about is what do we do with that and what services do we provide? we're the place when you don't know what, you have a question and you may not even know how to put that question into words, and you may think, I need help and I don't even know where to start. We're that place. We're where you start. Regardless of your question, we will listen. If we don't know the answer, we probably know who does know the answer, and we'll make sure that you're connected. So we work with individuals who kind of sort of maybe think they want to go to school, but they don't know where to start. They've never thought about it. They don't know what it involves. They don't know what they want to do. They may not have a career plan. We help students with that enrollment process. What does it mean to fill out an application for admission? Because if you were in my shoes and you were a first generation student, your parents don't know. You're like, I don't know. I guess you fill it out and turn it in. Well, okay. So we help with that process. Well, then obviously helping with a financial aid application and all those other steps that are necessary to get a student enrolled. We offer career exploration services. C&D is expanding our role here on campus, and we'll be morphing into offering full career center services, but we do offer career exploration. So we offer assessments that may look at, we offer the MBTI, which some of you may have heard of before. It stands for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. It's a personality assessment. Are you an introvert or an extrovert? How do you make your decisions? Do you make your decisions kind of going with your gut instinct, or are you a very logical person that thinks things out step by step? That sort of thing. It gives you a 4-digit code that tells you a lot about your personality and how your mind is wired and what's important to you and those sorts of things. And then in addition to that, we offer what's called a strong interest inventory. So that is just what it sounds like. It looks at things that you may be interested in. So if you take a picture of your personality type and how you're wired and what interests you and what intrigues you, and combine that with what that could possibly mean in careers, you get a really good assessment that provides some things that you may have never thought of, that you may have never even considered. And you think about it and you're like, oh, wait, I am really good at that. Or I really like to solve problems that way. Or, you know what, I really do like technology, and I didn't realize there was all of these opportunities available in cybersecurity, or whatever it may be. So we do a lot of that really initial career planning and admissions process with students. And then another thing that we do, I call it like a safety net. It's just a really big umbrella called retention services. And that can mean a million different things. But it's whatever that our office can do on campus to help our students succeed. So one of the things we do is we do study strategies workshops. I call them the things I wish I'd known when I was in your shoes, because I did not know them and they would have been really helpful. Yeah. So how to take notes. Instead of just opening your notebook and your notes start looking like you're writing a letter to your grandma, how to lay out your pages and how to go back and connect the notes that you take in class with maybe information from the PowerPoint that the instructor uses, or information from your reading, and to really kind of put some effort into that process initially, so that as you go back and review that for exams and things, it's a lot easier for you and your information is much better organized. We talk about how to read a college textbook. So, if you have 5 hours of homework to do in a night, and on top of that, you're supposed to read chapters 3 and 4 in a textbook, and it's 120 pages, that can be daunting and discouraging. And you're thinking, it's going to take me 5 hours just to read 120 pages. I'll never get the rest of my stuff. Well, we do a reading workshop that talks about how to kind of skim through that and glean the information that you need, again, tying it to other study materials from your notes and lecture, so that you're not spending all of that time reading word for word, but still getting the content that you need out of a textbook. We talk about time management. So our students have busy lives. They have families, they have jobs, they have all the other things that going on, and then you add school into that, and you add seat time, but then you add homework and all of that. So we talk about how to prioritize and how to manage your time, so you feel like you still are able to have a little bit of a life, and still get what you need to do for school done, and still maintain employment for a lot of our students, and all of those things. Keep all of those balls in the air if you're juggling. We do one on test taking strategies and how to answer various types of exam questions and how to prepare for an exam. We talk a little bit about mindfulness and managing stress and anxiety, and giving you some tools so that you're able to recall the information to the best of your ability and be more successful on the exam.
Wow.
I know, I have
That's
to take a
a
Good
breath.
lot.
answer. So we skipped question 3 because you answered it.
You
Yes.
did.
Very well. So I'll do question 4.
Okay.
Let us have a conversation, or let's.
Let us. So formal today,
Let us
Walker.
just converse. No, let's have a conversation about the CCAMPIS grant. What is it?
Let's.
And how did it come about, et
Let's
cetera?
do have a conversation.
So CCAMPIS is a federal grant. It is a grant that is administered by the Department of Education at the federal level. And CCAMPIS stands for Childcare Access Means Parents in Schools. So 2 thumbs up for that. So this is actually a grant that we applied for. This was our first submission, and we were selected and awarded this grant for our students. And we are beyond
Amazing.
thrilled for this. So
That's amazing.
we will be administering the grant through the Center for New Directions. There are some eligibility requirements, but it is any student can apply. It is geared towards students who are low income, as determined through the financial aid office and being a recipient of a Pell Grant. Some of the requirements that are non-negotiable, I guess, is that you must be using a licensed childcare provider. So someone who is licensed through the state, through Idaho Health and Welfare to provide. So we can't pay family members and that sort of thing, but we can pay licensed providers. So if someone is receiving assistance through the state already, we will look at helping with the copay, the out-of-pocket portion that the parent still has to pay. If for some reason a person's not eligible for assistance through the state, we will look at, being able to pay as much as we can toward their child care expenses while they are in school. So the process now is that you'll complete an application. We have the applications available in paper form in our office now. And we will be sending out an email to all current students by the end of the day that has it attached. And there's a checklist that kind of, fill out your application. We also need this and we also need this type thing. And so once that information is all ready to roll, you'll meet with either myself or Haley Mack in our office. No, Haley Holland. Don't know where that came from.
Too many Haleys.
Too many Haleys. Haley Holland. And we will our grant says we have to provide an orientation. So that's the orientation that we're required to provide. We'll sit with you, we'll go through it, we'll determine your eligibility and explain the payment processes and that to you. And then basically, if you're eligible, you're good to go for the semester. The payments will be made through the business office here at CEI directly to the providers. And obviously, if there's a change in a situation, we need to know about that, like maybe you drop a class or your work schedule changes or something like that. But if everything kind of stays the same for that semester, you're good to go. And then at the beginning of each semester, you will meet with us again to renegotiate need just because of changes in schedule and that sort of thing. So we're excited. We have $30,000. So it will be on a first come, first served basis. So if you are interested, we encourage you to apply. Like I said, you can pick up an application in our office. We are in Building 5, room 591, kind of the northwest corner of Building 5. And we will be sending them out via email by the end of the day. And then within a few days, we will have them available on our website as well for you to download.
So I have a quick follow-up question.
Yes.
If you could have any kind of long-term vision for childcare at College of Eastern Idaho, and let's pretend that this is a shared vision that you and I share.
Let's pretend.
Let's just pretend. What would your?
I'm thinking a whole lot of pretending's having to go on.
What would that be, Julie? What would that look like?
So Mike and I have had this conversation numerous
times. It's kind of an ongoing, humorous conversation.
A lot of campuses around the country have a center on campus. And that, honestly, that is our long-term goal. We understand that that is something that won't happen tomorrow, that requires some long-term planning and things like that. But what that means to our students as far as being able to have that access right on campus, you drop your little ones off and go to class and pick them up when you're done type thing. And so the center is very flexible as far as working with student schedules and Students who take classes in the evening can be a struggle to find care for that. So that is our goal. So our long-term goal is to have, we have a name for it. It is the Future Falcons Childcare Center. So
Actually, it's more, it's goofier than that. It's Julie and Mike's Center for Future Falcons, but that's not really going to happen.
the Future Falcons part, Mike. So.
Yeah.
The Future Falcons.
That is our, and part of this grant process, so we were awarded this grant. The grant period actually runs for 4 years. So as long as we continue to keep our due diligence as required by the federal government, we will get this for the next 4 years. At that time, we can reapply. It is anticipated, of course, that we will do that. The amount that a school can receive is based on their financial aid. So it is, we assume our population will grow as well.
Mm-hmm.
So in the next 4 years, we are hoping for an even larger award. And part of this process, obviously, is to help our students, but it's also to show that need long-term, so that as we talk about long-term campus planning and what are some things that really would help our students across the board be able to complete their educational goals, a childcare center would fall into that category for us.
Thanks, Julie. I appreciate that.
So when we hit 5,000 students, we'll be able to get a lot more money.
That's very true.
We're hoping, honestly, it's based on our Pell Grant allotment,
Sure.
actually. So
But,
Mike and I
yeah.
are really hoping that 4 years when we apply, we're hitting like the $50,000 mark already.
For
So,
sure. Amazing.
Which we think is very
That is
reachable in 4 years
absolutely.
from now.
Yes,
Especially when you consider we're up 11%.
11%.
Yeah. And we
Amazing.
also
Right.
got, just as a brief mention as well, we have an additional childcare grant through the City of Idaho Falls through HUD Community Development Block Grant. So we have our large CCAMPIS grant that we're launching this week. We also have a smaller one that helps students as well. That one is very much geared towards single parents and helping make those co-pays through the Idaho Childcare Program through ICCP. But we have a lot of options. So if you're looking at childcare as a cost that you're paying as a current student, you need to fill out an application and come see us, because there's a couple of different funding options right now.
Yeah, so
That's
this
very-
year we have
Don't let it
almost
be-
$40,000.
Don't let
Yeah.
it be a barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't use that as a barrier. Okay, next question. What are the most rewarding parts of your job?
I love kind of the seeing the student come in and they have that, or potential student, honestly, that deer in the headlights look, and I don't love that part, but they're so nervous and they don't know what to do, and they don't think they can do it, and they don't think it's for them. And watching them go through the process and getting admitted and helping to build that safety net and put those pieces into place for them. Another thing that our office offers is textbook lending, and single parents get priority, but it's open to any student. So, piecing together, okay, you've applied for admission and you've got your financial aid, and you know what, we can help you with these textbooks so you don't have to buy those. And now we can help you with childcare, and putting that net into place and seeing a student's confidence grow as they realize, they can do this. They can be a student. They can be successful. We have, a great resource in our tutoring center and such great staff and our instructors that really want to help our students succeed. So watching that confidence grow, and then graduation's always kind of a bittersweet day for me, because you love seeing the students accomplish their goal, and they're leaving the nest, and that they've worked really, really hard for this, and they're going to be great, and their future employment goals and that sort of thing. But it's sad to think we won't get to work with them anymore, and they won't pop in to say hello.
Right.
And so those goodbyes are a little tough, but they're good kind of tough.
It's fun to see them walk across the stage,
It's
too.
really fun. And
And
it's
you're-
really fun to see them come back in to say hi sometimes.
Yes.
I love that.
So you're all about, your CND is all about removing barriers. So if students feel like, I can't do this for X, fill in the blank, they should come see you.
Absolutely.
Because not always, but many times she will either have the resources or know where to point you in order to remove that barrier so you can come to school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have a great community here in Idaho Falls. We have some companies and some businesses that really do a lot of good to support our students. And we have a lot of just small nonprofits that have amazing resources available that if you don't know, you can ask for help. You don't know that they'll help with a graphing calculator or whatever it may be. So
even if we have somebody watching today who's not even walked through our doors yet, they could come see you. They could start with you. You could start
Absolutely.
with Julie. and Center for New Directions, and they can really help get the ball rolling for you.
100%. And Julie's also going to be launching, as she mentioned earlier, a Career Center focus, which is going to be significant and wonderful for all students, not just students of special populations.
Right.
So that's going to be really neat to see that evolve and develop. There's one more follow-up that I wanted to make sure I did. I'm going to get rid of question 6 and do just.
I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read it anyway.
It's okay. Tell us about the forthcoming food pantry and what our relationship is with Community Food Basket and what we've done in the past and what we're going to be doing in the future.
Okay. So a couple years ago, we actually did a survey for our current students to see what our needs were as far as food insecurity for our student population. And 51% of our students, and this was pre-COVID, this was I think the struggles and stress and all of the kind of uncertainty that this year has brought. This was prior to that. So I think these numbers would probably be higher for this year. Anyway, a couple years ago, we did a survey and 51% of our students surveyed said they did not have the means to buy enough food to last through the month. So there was food insecurity. They were going hungry certain days. In addition to that, 46% of our students said that they had skipped meals or ate smaller portions or something like that for themselves and their family to, again, try and make the food that they had available stretch a little bit more and last a little bit longer. So as part of that initial survey that was done, we reached out, we partnered with the Community Food Basket here in Idaho Falls. Cannot say enough good about that organization. Absolutely. And what they do and the people that they serve. But they started bringing their mobile food pantry to our campus once a month, opening it up to our students and to some of our neighbors in the area as well.
Kudos to Dave Manson and Ariel Jackson.
For sure.
Dave no longer works there, but Ariel is their director now. And they really are focused on helping people
ending
get
hunger,
food. And
bottom
hunger.
line. Yeah.
That's right. Yes.
So,
go ahead.
No, you're fine. So they started bringing their mobile pantry to our campus once a month and helping to support our students in our community in that way. And as that need has maintained, and like I said, most likely grown, especially this year, we've looked at ways in which we could better utilize their partnership with our campus and better serve our students. So we, along with Student Life, with Haley Mack and her group, filled out a grant within our CEI Foundation this year to launch a community food pantry. So Falcon Family Food Pantry, I think is the name of it.
Yay.
It will be opening hopefully by the end of the month. So it will serve individuals who have a difficult time getting to the community food basket and to their distribution. It's tough to meet that schedule if you've got classes that sort of time or that same time and that sort of thing. So transportation can be an issue. So we will have food boxes available here. The food pantry, through the partnership and through Ariel and her amazing team, they will actually supply most of the food to us. We have a location selected on our campus. We will have a staffed, kind of staggered times throughout the week to accommodate what best meets student need when you're on campus, and we'll be offering that.
I'm really excited and I love the name.
Yes.
We really struggled initially with the name, so I'm thrilled to hear
We have Student Senate to thank the name.
Falcon Family Food Pantry.
That's amazing. Yeah, so many fabulous things going on.
Yeah.
All right, Julie. So what are your best college success tips for students?
My number one thing would be to take advantage of the resources that are available. Don't wait. If you're in a class for a week or two and you really need that class and you're going to stick with it, but you're struggling, don't wait until week 12 to reach out to your instructor, to reach out to the tutoring center, to reach out to our office. Those resources are in place to help our students. So come see us. By all means, our tutoring center is phenomenal. Julie Kaufman and her crew over there. So
just highlighted on
that's what I was going to
Highlighted
say. So she
on
was the Feel Good Friday recipient on Friday, Julie Kaufman. Our tutoring center is amazing.
Yeah, and it's free. You just walk in and they help you. So if you have a question about, the schedule of your classes or what you need to take next semester and to make sure you have what you need to get into the nursing program or to make sure that you have what you need to transfer to ISU for your bachelor's degree, whatever, reach out to advisors. Everybody on our campus has one goal, and our goal is to assist our students. So I think that would be my number one piece of advice is don't be afraid to ask the question.
It's a great piece of advice.
Other piece of advice, though, would be to get involved. And it can be tough. I mean, we're a commuter campus. We don't have housing, so we don't have that traditional dorm life on a campus. But there are so many great activities. And there are great activities that happen maybe just during the day when you're just on campus for your classes. But our student life group works really hard to have family events. We talked about the trunk or treat coming up and New Sweden, or where are we going? We're going to the Rexburg corn.
Rexburg and New Sweden.
Yeah,
Rexburg and New Sweden, 2 corn mazes. Can you believe that? And possibly Picasso. So there's a lot of activities that are great if you and maybe a couple of your friends or something like that. But if you've got a family, these events are geared toward that as well. And to take an opportunity to spend some time away from if you're doing the home teaching thing for your students on top of your coursework, to take that time and build some memories and have some positive experiences, because there's a lot available.
That's amazing advice. Yes. So I think you have the last question.
Oh, I do. So other advice?
I could have said that, but it was much more fun to say, Mike, it's your turn.
What other tips or tricks or thoughts or advice do you have for anyone in the Falcon family?
I think, honestly, it really goes back to ask the question.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask the question. You can ask anybody on campus. If they don't know the answer, they will get you directed to the right person and be able to hopefully answer your question, resolve the issue, provide the resource, whatever it may be that you're looking for.
I also want to highlight inside of the Center for New Directions is also our Disability Resources Center. So that's also where Dan Bruderer, our wonderful senior coordinator for disability resources, is housed as well. And that's also a place that you can go for that kind of support. And when he's not available, they can help out as backups for those services. So just a really great place all around, Center for New Directions. Julie, thank you so much. Add the 2 things, please.
So we're the place, sometimes students just need to disconnect for about 5 minutes on our campus, pop into our office. I've been here for 7 years, like I said, and about 2 years ago, I had a student in crisis in my office, and we were just kind of talking a little bit and helping him get to a healthier state. And I asked him when the last time was that he had eaten, and it had been a couple of days. Mm-hmm. So this is in support of the food pantry, obviously, but we always have snacks. If you ran out of the house and you've got an exam, you don't have an exam, it doesn't matter. You haven't eaten, come see us. We always have fairly healthy snacks available for our students on a walk-in basis. And we also have, in addition to, this will be a part of the food pantry, but I want to make sure that everybody understands it's not just food. Within our center, we have household and hygiene items available. You can come in and get what you need. We have things that are tough to buy, like with SNAP benefits and other resources. So the laundry detergent, the toilet paper, those sorts of things that you just need as part of your day-to-day living. We have those available for our students as well.
So a variety of hygiene products for women and men.
Mm-hmm. So, and I just want to say we have amazing people across campus, caring people, fabulous people, but Julie has to be among the most caring and wonderful on this campus. So truly, if you're struggling in any area and you just don't know where to turn, go to Julie's office and she will either help you, somebody in our office can help you, or she will point you in the right direction of those people who can help you.
Thank you.
Amen. So thank you, Julie, for coming and joining us for our show.
Yeah, it was.
It was really fun. And we'll probably have you on again next semester. There'll be some other new fun.
Maybe we'll have another grant.
Another grant.
A new
grant to talk about.
Hopefully, we've tried for a few, so we were excited we got this one. And thank you, Lori, for, as always, because you're amazing and wonderful.
Thank you, Dean Walker. You are wonderful and amazing too. So it's all good.
Have a great week, and we will see you in a week, and we'll have someone from instruction next week.
Somebody from instruction. I don't know who yet. So, all right. Thank you. Bye.